Have you ever been in a nightmare scenario where you're presenting to stakeholders or leading a critical meeting and suddenly your brain just freezes? Everyone's staring at you, waiting. Your mind goes completely blank. You can't remember what you were saying or what you're going to say next. You're in the middle of your presentation and you're hyper-focused on what's in front of you. You just finished and what's next? That's scary. Imagine the embarrassment, right? And you might even wonder, do you have ADHD? Maybe you've scrolled through Reddit posts and threads and TikTok and you go, well, that sounds like maybe I have ADHD, and you recognize yourself in all these symptoms that people talk about. So you figure, maybe I just need more energy, I need more focus, I need more stimulants to keep my brain sharp when I need it the most. So you've tried perhaps taurine, guarana, maybe caffeine, energy drinks like Red Bull, or even ginseng, ginkgo, these so-called focus supplements, right? You go to your local pharmacy, ask what's good for the brain. Here's the kicker. Not only have they not worked, they actually make things worse. Now your brain freezes seems even more often, right? You've got this grand plan you got to present. You've got all these things you want to share, but you can't remember the whole thing. You go through, okay, what's that next? You look down again, what am I going to say next? And you feel entirely embarrassed and frustrated. Worst of all, when people look at you, when you can't remember your talking points and you have to constantly refer to the notes, guess what? They think you're incompetent. They think you don't have confidence. That's why people think of you as that, right? If you ever get that feedback for your performance review and saying, hey, you need to work on your confidence, that's probably what it is. And here's what nobody's talking about or telling you. Your brain is not freezing because you need more stimulation. In fact, it's actually freezing because you already have too much. Think about it. We all know that stress response is fight, flight, or freeze. The third one, that's exactly what's happening to you in those high pressure moments. And this is even if you've done all the preparation, right? When executives and high performing leaders experience brain freeze, it's because there's too much stress. It's not a lack of stimulation. So when you pile on more stimulants, thinking that's going to help, you're pouring gasoline on the fire. You're increasing the physiological and mental stress on your body, which makes you even more likely to freeze up. But it gets worse. When your body is overstimulated, something fascinating happens. Your focus narrows, both mentally and physically. And what that means, your pupils actually constrict. You lose your peripheral vision. And mentally, it means you're missing the big picture. You literally can't see or think about anything else except a tiny little point, which is the things that you probably are talking about when you do your presentation. And this is why you forget the rest of it. You're so focused and narrow on the key point that you're talking about at the point in time, you lose track of a big picture. And that's what happens with focus. Your key arguments, everything you plan to say, this tunnel vision means that you're looking through a binocular at a just single point and you miss the bigger point. And this is not just embarrassment, it leads to poor decision making because you're not considering all the variables. You don't have the ability to do so, or you're going to struggle, right? The solution is not more stimulation. It's achieving what I call a flow state for your brain. Now, flow state is not a term I invent. It's actually described by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and it's the perfect balance of calmness and alertness. Right? Think about watching an elite athlete who's in the zone. That's a state of being in the flow. They're not stressed or frozen. They're performing at their absolute highest level while staying calm and collected. They see everything. They're alert, but they're not overwhelmed. And that's exactly what your brain needs. Just the right level of stimulation where you're alert and focused and still calm enough to see the bigger picture and remember all your key points. Here's what you can do to prime your brain for flow state. First, arrive 5 minutes early and practice presence-based breathing with your eyes closed. This is going to put you in a state where you calm down from this agitated state into a calm, collected state. This could be box breathing or any other breath work that you know. The key is doing it with intention and presence. Next, give yourself what I call a minute to arrive. This is a practice where you're going to write a minute before the session and you're just going to sit and you're just going to observe the room. Get comfortable. Get there early. This will make you feel more calm and composed. Don't walk in just before you're supposed to present or when everyone's there. Come in a minute early. And thirdly, start to practice management techniques. If you freeze, next time, you can practice this technique to help you recover. As we learn to develop the state of presence, it's good to have this management technique so we can fail a bit and still come back and recover from this moment where we felt frozen. There's a technique I describe in my protocol. It's called hands-on chair. And this technique will help you to become fully present and break those frozen response when you're just struggling to think. These techniques work because they put your brain in the perfect balance of alertness and calmness. You're going to walk into meetings feeling confident, stay in flow, and never miss a beat. No more brain freezes, no more embarrassment, just you operating at your best when it matters more. Do you want my protocol? My executive preparation protocol will give you the steps that you need to develop this flow state for your brain to operate at your best. If this is something that you would like, drop the word executive below. I'll send it to you, no email needed.